Chapter 40, Sri Sai Satcharita. In this chapter, there are two stories. The first is how Baba attended the Udyapan ceremony of b.v.deo's mother at his home at Dhanu, and the story of how Baba attended the Shimga meal in Dabholkar's house in Bandra. Now I shall give a few more details of these Leelas. Then talk a little about Balakrishna Vishwanath Dev and Govind Raghunath Dabholkar. Bala Sahib Dev alias Balakrishna Vishwanath Dev has been mentioned in chapter 40 and 41 of the Sri Sai Satcharita. He wrote several articles under the pseudonym Babanche Bal, meaning Baba's child, and also composed the Arti Ruso Mama Priya Ambika Majavari Pita Hi Ruso, and the Avantrika or epitome as chapter 53 of the Sri Sai Satcharita. Bala Sahib Dev was a magistrate at Dhanu. He met Sri Sai Baba for the first time on the 30th November 1910. He came in contact with Baba through Nana Sahib Chandurkar. It is interesting to note that Baba taught him yoga in his dream and also showed him the correct posture and the correct mudra of his fingers. Baba also gave Nam mantra in his dream, and through Chandurkar he received instructions about the method of doing Nam Jap in the wakeful state. Now the Leela given in chapter 40 of the Charitra. Dev's mother had observed 25 to 30 different vows, and an Udyapan or concluding ceremony was to be performed, with Annadan for about 100 to 200 Brahmins. Dev then wrote a letter to Bapu Sahib Jog asking him to request Baba to attend the ceremony, as without his attendance the ceremony would not be successful. Baba said, "I always think of him who remembers me. I require no conveyance, carriage, tonga, nor train. I run and manifest myself to him who lovingly calls me. Tell him that 3 of us will surely attend the dinner." Dev was very pleased, but he knew that Baba never went to any place except Rahata, Rui and Nimgaon in person. He also knew that nothing was impossible with Baba, as he was all-pervading, and that he might suddenly come in any form and fulfill his words. A few days later, a Bengali sannyasi met him, requesting a donation subscription to be taken up regarding Gau Seva and the protection of cows. However, this was not feasible as another donation subscription was already in progress. So Dev requested him to come about a month later. On the day of the Udyapan ceremony, the sannyasi appeared at his doorstep, but assured Dev that he had not come for any donation that day, but to have a meal. Happily, Dev welcomed him to dine with him, but the sannyasi said that he was with 2 other lads. Unhesitatingly, Dev asked him to bring the lads along. Then Dev requested his address so that he could go and fetch the trio. The sannyasi told him that he and his companions would be there at the appointed time. Thus the trio came and had a hearty meal and left satisfied. A few days later, Dev wrote to Baba stating his disappointment that he had not come to dine with him. Before Joe could read the letter, Baba says, "Tell him if he did not recognize me, why does he bother to invite me? Did I not assure him that I would come with 2 others? And didn't the 3 of us have a hearty meal?" Baba's words made Dev extremely happy, but he chided himself for not recognizing Baba, although he made it evident that the trio would come and have their meal. Dev completed his period of service in the government with an extension of 3 months, but still he wanted further extension of 1 year. Baba appeared in his dream one night and told him that he was looking into his accounts. Surprisingly, the collector also recommended this extension, and he got 1 year extension with Baba's grace. He retired in 1911 and went to Baba and tried to do Pada Puja at the insistence of Dikshit. However, Baba stopped him and said, "You need not worship me, as you have given me dakshina. That is enough." After retirement, he served Baba for as many years as 35 years. Dev passed away peacefully, blessed by Baba on 1st January 1946. Just like b.v.deo, his son, by name S.B. was also a trustee of the Sansthan for some time and did similar service in propagating Baba's name and fame. The other Leela in this chapter is how Baba attends the Shimga dinner at Dabholkar's home in the form of a bas-relief. The night prior to Holi, Dabholkar dreamt of Baba, who told him that he would attend the holy dinner the next day. So he told his wife about it, but she was doubtful if Baba would come. Dabholkar was sure that Baba would come in some form or the other. So the next day, all the family and friends were seated, and in the central place of honor, Baba was to be seated. However, there was no sign of Baba. Just as they were about to start their meal, they heard footsteps outside their door, and Ali Muhammad and Maulana Ismu Mujawar entered carrying a beautiful bas-relief of Baba and gifted it to Dabholkar. Immediately, Dabholkar laid his head on Baba's feet and inquired about it. They promised to narrate the story in detail some time later. Dabholkar placed the bas-relief in the central place of honor, and after performing puja with due rituals, offered nevedya, and following this, everyone joyfully had a hearty meal. The bas-relief was then placed in their puja room, and the festival of Holi is performed every year with a great deal of zeal. 9 years later, Dabholkar met Ali Muhammad, who told him the story in great details. And this story I will narrate in its entirety in the next chapter. Here, a short sketch of Dabholkar's life is narrated. Dabholkar was born in 1859 in a Gaud Arya Saraswat Brahmin family in a small town called Kelve in Thane district. His father and grandfather were religious and devout persons. As the family was poor, his primary education was done in his native place and then in English education up to the 5th standard and was finished at Pune. On account of his adverse circumstances, he could not continue his education any further. He could only manage to pass the public service examination of that time. Then he had to accept the post of a schoolmaster in his native place. His good nature, intelligence, and work were noted by Sabaji Chintamani Chitnis, who was then a Mamlatdar in Colaba district. He appointed him first as a Talati or village officer, thence as a clerk, and afterwards a Wal, head clerk in the Mamlatdar's court. Sometime after he was appointed as a forest settlement officer and again as a special officer on the famine relief works at Baroch, Gujarat. The duties of the post were most satisfactorily discharged by him. In 1901, he was appointed as the Mamlatdar of Shahapur and in 1903 as a resident magistrate first class at Bandra, where he served till 1907. Thence he was transferred to Murad, Anand, Bosad and again posted in 1910 at Bandra as a resident magistrate. It was in this year that he had the good fortune to go to Shirdi and get the darshan of Sai Baba. He retired from service in 1916. After this, he got a temporary government job, but that was short-lived. After his retirement, he served Baba heart and soul till Baba's Mahasamadhi and afterwards managed very skillfully and efficiently Sai Baba's Shirdi Sansthan till his death, which occurred in 1929. He left behind him his wife, a son, and 5 daughters, most of whom were married to suitable and worthy husbands. This is taken from the first edition of N.V. Gunaji's book in English, adapted from the original in Marathi. And finally, I shall narrate some Leelas where Baba does fulfill the devotee's desire and has a meal with them. A devotee from Devas, Madhya Pradesh, came to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. He stayed in Dikshitwada and dined in Shagun Meru Naik's hotel. He longed for Baba to dine with him, so he reserved a plate of food every day. Then he went and invited Baba to dine with him for lunch and dinner. But Baba just laughed. One night at 10:30 p.m., just as Shagun Meru was about to close the hotel, a Nathpanthi entered the hotel and said, "There is a plate of food reserved for me. Can I have it?" Shagun Meru at once made him comfortable and offered the food to him. He ate heartily and asked to see the person who had so thoughtfully reserved the food for him. Shagun Meru ran to Dikshitwada at once, but the devotee was fast asleep, and try as he may, he couldn't awaken him. He returned and told the Nathpanthi about it, who said, "Always feed the hungry," and left. Everyone heard about it the next day. Shama asked Baba if he had dined at Shagun Meru's. "Yes, I had gone to the hotel yesterday and dined to my heart's content." Thus it was known that Baba went in other rupas or forms to dine in Shirdi also. Baba often went as an Atiti and dined in the house of various devotees at different places. Sometimes he told the devotees that he would come for lunch, and this he did, but as a sadhu, fakir or an Atiti, that is, any living creature. It was up to the devotee to recognize him in that form and also to recognize him in every form. Upasani was staying at Khandoba Mandir Shirdi as per Baba's order. Every day he cooked a meal and took it to Dwarka Mai and offered it to Baba. One day, while he was cooking, he noticed a black dog watching him prepare the food with great eagerness. Upasani thought that it was absurd to give a dog the food before offering it to Baba. The dog, however, followed him for quite a distance and then disappeared. Upon reaching the Dwarkamai, he offered the Nivedya to Baba, and Baba said, "Why did you come all this way in this heat? I was there, watching and waiting for you to offer me the food." Upasani was astonished to hear these words, and Baba refused to accept the prasad. The next day, a sickly Shudra was leaning against the wall watching him. Upasani feared Drishti Dosha, or the evil eye of the Shudra watching a Brahmin cook. So he said, "Go away," and the man left. Again, Baba refused to accept the prasad. Upasani asked him if he could really be the sickly beggar. Baba said, "I am in everything and beyond." In this Charitra, chapter 40, Dev invited Baba to his home for the Udyapan ceremony, and Baba agreed, saying that he would come with 2 others. On that day, a Bengali sannyasi and 2 companions came and dined. Although Dev was very courteous and looked after them graciously, he failed to recognize Baba. He later wrote to Baba saying he was disappointed at the breach of promise, as Baba did not attend the Udyapan ceremony. Baba said, "Tell him if he did not recognize me, why did he invite me? Yet I lunched at his function to my heart's content and satisfaction. I will even give up my life for my devotee, but the words from my mouth will never be untrue." These Leelas are taken from Ambrosius Shetty, written by Ramalinga Swami. And this concludes the commentary on the chapter. Om Sai Ram.